Awesome. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to HR Hangouts brought to you by the Human Resource Development Ministry of Global Harvest Church, Liberty Road. That's the headquarters of Global Harvest Church here in Ibadan. Today, we are discussing everything CVs, everything resumes. And I have two amazing guests in the house. I'm so happy to have these two professionals hanging out with us this evening. And I'll be introducing them in a second. HR Hangouts is a program that we usually have from time to time as a ministry. And our mandate with this program is to discuss pressing issues around our career or our businesses. Today, like I said earlier, we'll be discussing everything CVs. And I'll introduce our guests right now. The first guest I'd like to introduce is not really a stranger to the house. He's actually a member of the ministry, and we've been together for a while now. He is a senior HR professional. He's a recruiter, and he's also a capacity building training person in the name of Coach Daniel Yohaoje. We call him Coach Daniel in the house. So, Coach Daniel, welcome. It's nice having you around.
The pleasure is mine. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And then we also have another senior HR professional. She manages human resources for one of Nigeria's leading retail chains and supply chain management companies that have branches all over the country. From the investigations I've done, she reviews CVs in their hundreds on a monthly basis. And they always have continuous recruitment in that organization. So it's an honor to have in the house this evening, Adiola Oladipupo. Thank you so much for coming, Adiola. It's nice having you around.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me around. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So like I said earlier, we're discussing everything CVs this evening. And I'd like to give a background to why are we discussing CVs? We've done this before. We've had sessions, we've had seminars around CVs before. Why are we revisiting this? We, as a ministry, we have a job board where we post a minimum of 300 job applications on a daily basis. And we do that 6 days a week. So 300 times 6, that's about 1,500 to 1,800 job vacancies that we post on a weekly basis. And in spite of the volume of vacancies that are out there, that are even been that have been exacerbated by the recent immigration of people outside of Nigeria, you still go around and you see a lot of people saying there are no jobs, I can't get a job. And then you hear stuff like they have their own candidates, don't mind all those adverts. They know the people they want to recruit already. We don't believe this is true. And that's why we looked a little bit deeper into this, asked some questions. And one of the first things that we heard was that you send them your CVs and they don't get to call you back. I send my CVs everywhere, but they don't invite me for interviews. So that's why we think, yes, this is the first point in getting an employment, crossing this CV hurdle. And that's why we are discussing CVs and everything CVs this evening. So my first question I think I'll like ladies first. So my first question will go to Adiola. What does a CV or resume, as it's called in some areas, what does it really represent? So when we hear CV or we hear resume, what is it? What does it represent?
Okay, for starts, I think CV is a platform for you to actually sell yourself, even before people get to meet you, before people actually have things that can sell you out to your employers and to prospective employers, really. And so if you don't have that CV selling you out, there's no way anybody's going to call you to have a conversation with you. So CV in the first instance is something that is supposed to help sell you, to market you to your prospective employers. Yeah.
Awesome. So CV is like a signboard that sells you before people get to meet you.
Exactly.
In fact, I'm not sure I'll ever forget that. Coach Daniel, you want to add anything to that?
Okay, so well, yeah, CV is nearly like if you think of of an advertising. You wanna sell a product, but you have a flyer, yeah. So your flyer goes first. So your CV basically represents you in places where you cannot be physically present. So I can't be in 3 places at the same time to introduce myself, but my CV will be there representing me all at the same time. So it's like the first point of contact, but the only thing is that you're not physically there so it's like a document basically representing you. And then again, interestingly, you mentioned CV and resume. There's a difference between the two. So a CV, while a CV is a comprehensive document, talking about chronologically or otherwise your history, but the resume is a summary of all your accomplishments relating to the job. So we have to know that differences. And when you say bring a resume, bring a resume, bring a CV, what a CV is. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. So there's this difference between a CV and a resume. One's more comprehensive than the other. I hear you. So the next question will start with you, Coach Daniel. How can a well-written CV help you stand out from other candidates? We know that today, in today's world, our universities, our schools are pushing out graduates in droves. So basically, there's no job out there that you find a vacancy that there won't be 10s or 20s or even hundreds of people applying for the same role. And then the better the roles are, the more the number of people trying to get in. So how can your CV stand you out in that crowd?
Okay, fantastic. So 2 things you have to consider about your CV, when pushing your CV and enabling it to stand out. First of all, it has to be different in terms of we say the content and the container. Okay, so in terms of the content, it really has to have stuff. So, and then the container itself, that is the design of the CV itself, can also stand out. There is really no fast and hard rule to say your CV has to be on white paper. There's no hard and fast. There is no rule to say you could write everything you want to write as comprehensive as your detailed work experience and education is. Put it on a CV really nicely and put it on a black paper. In fact, put everything black and just only the letterings and put them in white, the wordings. It will stand out ordinarily, but just by the container design. And I've seen some very nice CVs that are represented in pictographics. Like we have a timeline, chronology of where education and all the work experiences, and the person puts it in a very colorful, timeline, like a roadmap, and it's pictorially represented. Some may even be a pie chart to say I spent most of my time in this industry, 30% of my time in this industry, but like that. So creativity can come to play depending on the industry. So you can actually make your CV stand out just by the container in itself. But let's talk about the content. The content in such a way, you have to write it because you see, when you're writing CV for the Nigerian workspace, it's different a little bit from the American workspace because in our context, because of our colonial past and our experience, recruiters are used to seeing CV written in certain ways. So you have to follow that format. Otherwise, you get them confused. And remember, recruiters only have about maybe 3 seconds to 5 seconds to spend on an average CV when they're actually doing this initial screening of thousands of CVs. So your CV doesn't have to be, the arrangements of the CV has to be in certain ways so that the recruiter can quickly pick out what he needs to pick out and don't have to be looking throughout the whole CV to pick out some points where you did hitting them in a way that the recruiter is not used to. So what is the recruiter used to? We have just remember this acronym, BEST, B-E-S-T. So your basic information first, then the essential informations, that's the E, then the supporting informations, then the trivial informations. So if you look at that acronym BEST, then you have a good CV. So your basic information, my name. Remember your CV is introducing yourself. So when you're meeting somebody for the first time, what do you do? My name is Daniel Iyoha OJ. I am a this. So exactly how your CV should write. Your name first. So when you put a CV out and the first thing you write is curriculum vitae A, it doesn't no need to put it curriculum vitae A there. No, we know it's a CV. So just put your name first. Yes, just put your name first. And the best thing I recommend is your first name first. So it's not last name first. Like my first name is Daniel. So Daniel, my father's name is Iyoha OJ. Daniel Iyoha OJ. That way, make it the boldest letter. Let it stand out. Let it just be there. Basic information, your address and your contact information after your name. Then essential information, which is your education, your skills and all that kind of thing, your work history. Those are essential information. Then followed by supporting information. Oh, I've gone for this training. I had this award. I was the best person in this. Are supporting information. And then trivial information. Oh, my hobbies. People would like to know a little bit about you. You know, what you do when you're not working and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I play chess. I'm a bike rider. I love reading. So those are the trivial information that can remember best. So that will make your CV stand out. That is just the content. But in terms of the container, pimp it, depending again on the industry. Like I said, you can make it stand out just by the container.
Yeah, I'll come to you right now, Adiola. So,
okay, that's fine.
A few questions. One, CVs, to put picture or not to put picture. Two, to put picture or not to put picture. Two, how long do you, in your experience, reviewing hundreds, if not thousands of CVs on a monthly basis, how long do you spend on an average CV before you decide, I want to see this person again or throw it away? And then number three,
okay,
when you spend that time, however long that time is, what are the things you look for first? The things that, that place where your eye goes to, immediately you pick up a CV as a recruiter.
Okay, so your first question is picture or no picture. For me, no picture. If I am going to do it manually, no picture. And again, using ATS, really, I don't think your picture is needed. I really don't want to see your picture. Just let me see what you're able to do first. Then secondly, you asked, sorry, what was the second question?
How long do you spend reviewing?
How long? Okay, so I spend a maximum of 3 seconds. If I'm going to
3 seconds?
Yes, actually. In
1,
3 seconds,
2, 3.
Yes, really. So in 3 seconds, I can actually see this is somebody I want or not. And so I can spend a longer time if I've cited something that actually catches my attention. And what catches my attention? So if I am recruiting for a role, I have the JD and I know what I'm looking for. The first thing I look at is your current work experience or your most recent work experience. I just look out for the achievements. I look out for your responsibility and what your achievement is for that period. And if I don't find it there, I probably will take a look and say, okay, let me see the next one to see. If I don't see it, I'm not going any further. I'm not going any further, really.
So the first thing you look at is experience.
Yes, experience.
And the relevance of that experience to what you're looking for or what you advertise.
Exactly. So what's your third question again? Sorry, I lost it.
You basically answered all, because I wanted to know how long you spend reviewing a CV. You said 3 seconds.
And so I said, sorry to cut you. So I said 3 seconds because most times I have a volume. I cannot begin to spend 2 minutes, 5 minutes on one CV, except again.
Amazing.
Look at your hobbies. Even I wouldn't even go to this guy has interest in this or that.
Amazing. So, Coach Daniel, how long do you spend reviewing
in 3 seconds?
Okay.
Yes.
So with regards to when an advert goes out on a national newspaper, you have over, that is taking cue from Adiola's, you would have response. In the first 24 hours, you have an upward of 2,500 CVs that will come in. Okay, in the very first 24 hours, an average of 2,500 CVs will flood in on the average from research. And what that tells you is that the recruiter will have to be very fast and nimble and be really very fast. And it is what catches his attention. So yes, so the average time, let me even read some interesting statistics for you. So the average time spent on a CV is between 3 to 10 seconds per CV. And that's the average time recruiters spend. And that basically is the average time I spend between 3 to 10 seconds, averagely. Then you have, and right now, when you now have ATSs, like automated CV, review system. So we put it in the system. The system basically through the optical character recognition. We're looking for they're very fast at the speed of thoughts. It's scanning and then scanning CVs and then picking out keywords in your CV and then sorting it based on those keywords that it has found. So, and that takes even a fraction of a second to accomplish. So yeah, to answer your question, if I'm not going to be automating it, if I'm just going to be sitting down and sorting, I can't spend 5 seconds on the CV, because if I'm going to be reviewing 1,000 CVs, perhaps in a week, that's tremendous work. So I really don't have the luxury of time.
So to ride on that, Coach Daniel, as an applicant, what should I do to my CV to make it stand out of that 2,500 applicants? Okay. What should I put there that will catch your attention or catch the other's attention?
Yeah. Okay. Again, it depends on the industry. Like in a financial industry, in a manufacturing industry, those kind of industries that are really very process-driven and very straight-jacketed, and the creativity is another department entirely in that kind of industry. And you're not in the creative, you're not applying for creative positions in those industries. So your CV has to be as experiential as possible, just like Diola said. So it's your experience that you push first. And then when you're going to be pushing your experience, and because you want the eye to catch it first, and it is psychology, because you see, once you're reading, you know how you want to read a book, but you're just glancing through the first 3 paragraphs, you already know what it's talking about. So you say what you want to say first, then every other thing is supporting information. So which means that if it's experience, put your relevant education. If that's how you want to start, that's fine. Put your relevant education first. That is, if I have a BS, if I have a master's in philosophy and I want to apply for a banking job, what has philosophy got to do with my? So I don't put that first. I will put my relevant work experience first. After my name and my contact address, the next thing the recruiter is seeing are relevant information to the job. First, it could come in from my work experience or it could come in from my education, depending on which one will sell me better. Okay, so what will sell you better and you think it's critical and kosher to the job you're applying for should come immediately first, and then don't mince words around it. You know, where you put a little bit about myself, they say about me, after you don't need all that, just where you say, okay, I am a focus-driven person that works in great teams. Of all those things are nice to know, but they are not really needed.
Very important.
So what you want to put, but yes, these ones can come later and try to trigger information. But the first
so all those vision and mission statements that we add on our CVs, I can break mountains and move the valleys.
They are very flowery. They are very flowery.
So you guys don't read those things?
No, I do not read it. I honestly don't read it, because it's most of them is even copy and paste. They are not actually reflections of who people are. So I really do not take my time to read it. Then I was going to add to what Daniela said. I for one, if you are going to make your CV very catchy and very spot on, please it should be written in reverse chronological order, such that you're not telling us what you have done back in 2007. It has to be what the most recent is, then follows like that. I don't know if you understand. So it is not me saying what you've done 20 years ago or 15 years ago. No, you probably have left that place years ago and the knowledge is not as fresh as it is. The trends in that industry has changed. So that's not what I want to see. Let me see what your most recent experience is, and we can carry on from there.
Awesome. So I still want to drill a little bit deeper around some of the things you've said. If I am a fresh graduate and I do not have experience, or my experience is just 6 months, 1 year, and in most cases, maybe it's not even relevant to this new role, versus I have been working for the last 10 years, I have experience, and I probably have experience that's relevant to the role. How would you advise me to arrange my CVs in both cases? Let's start with that, Diola.
Okay, so the first thing is, if you do not have, maybe entry level, you do not have experience, please don't apply for jobs that are requiring experience. that is one thing that's, so once I see it, I'm just off. I don't even bother to go through it again. But if we are hiring for an entry level, it's just okay to put your educational certifications. You must have done internship at some place. It has to be there. Voluntary work. Then your skills would go a long way. So for hired, for experienced hire, I actually would not really bother about hobbies. But for entry levels, it's also good to have. Let me see if the person is actually a culture fit. And trust me, I've seen hobbies such as sleeping in somebody's CV, and I'm wondering, how do you expect me to to go ahead? Exactly. So for non-experienced hire, I would advise your educational background. You can talk about it a lot in terms of, I went to this school, this is what certification I have, this is the grade I finished with. But for experienced hire, if you're talking about your education, just keep it short and simple. 2012, masters in this and this and this school, that's the end. But for a fresh graduate, it has to be more it has to be more what's the word now? It has to be bulkier, such that you tell us what your education is, what you did, if you had any citations, any dissertations, or your project work, just put it. That also helps. We that we're hiring for entry levels know that we do not expect you to have so much experience, but your educational background will help. Your voluntary experiences will help. Your internships will help as well.
So if growing up, my mom had a shop and I used to manage it for her, or my dad had a poultry and I was the poultry manager for the birds, would that help?
Yes.
Can I put that on my CV?
Yes. I personally, if I'm hiring for entry levels and I see such, as long as the person can defend it when we come to interviews, it's totally fine. Yes, because it's something that you did with your time and it was work. So of course, you should count for something until you land your first corporate job. Then you can begin to trickle that down bit by bit. But for entry level, it passes for me.
Awesome. And I guess it also communicates to you as a recruiter that this person can handle some level of responsibility.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Darren, if I may just add real quick.
Yes, please.
Add real quick. You see, and that is why in your CV, it's called work experience, not job experience. Mm-hmm. So the difference between a work and job mm-hmm. is that one, you get paid for it, which is a job. But work is you spending your time to develop and gain experience and add value. So we should take it from that end. You may not necessarily be paid for it, but it's something that you've done, applied your time, your talent, and you've learned from it and you've added value. Yes. So whatever it is, put it out there.
Okay, Coach Daniel, I'll still stay with you. Let's talk about quickly, because our time is fast running out. Let's talk about applicant tracking systems. And it's gaining popularity. If you're applying to jobs outside the country, chances are 9 out of 10 times it's an ATS that will sort the CVs. In Nigeria, companies are beginning to adopt ATS systems also. So what is this applicant tracking system? How does it work? And what should we know about it? Especially in these days of Jackpot, or even if you're not Jackpot, there are some of us who are hoping to get a job from outside the country and be earning in USD or in foreign currency. What should I know about ATS? How should I prepare my CV so that I can qualify when an ATS system is reviewing it? Let's start with you, Dan.
So for every role and for every industry, if you look at the role and if you look at the industry, you would notice that there are some words, some semantics that is peculiar to a particular industry, and also peculiar to a particular job role. Like for instance, I could remember my very first interview at the waiting room. So the owner of the business just trotted in and then looked at me and then singled me out of the people that waited and was like my very first job. So he asked me, he said, have you done HR before? I looked at him and I didn't know who he was. And I said, yes, I have done HR before, but I did it as an undergraduate at the time. I said, yeah, I did it before. It's something I've done, as an intern. Then he said, okay, so tell me about your experience. Then I began to speak and he looked at me and said, do you know anything about JD? Because I started talking about jobs and how we did our
Yeah.
interviews. Then he asked me, do you know anything about job description? Have you come across that word before? And I looked at him and I said, actually, I have never come across that word before. And that's how ATS basically works. So the ATS would, there is a special automated, Autobot in it. It's one of the, they call it, to come to me now. But anyway, the way it's written, it is written to actually recognize some characters and pull those characters out. And those characters are preloaded when you are launching it for a particular role. So you preload it, the recruiter preloads those characters, say, these should be the words you should be looking out for. And then the machine grabs it and then begins to match those words with any word in your CV. Not just with those words, and there are synonyms too as well. So it will begin to look for other. So it's really a very complex software system that searches for this. But the problem is that we do not know the semantics, or how to put it, the official language that is synonymous to that particular job role and that industry. So until we understand that, we can now then come back to our CV and begin to infuse those words in it. For instance, if I'm going to be, just an example, if I'm looking for a job as a customer care representative, then, or a call center agent, I want to put in my CV there that my call customer resolution rates, words like that, call drop rates, I was able to follow through. I was able to, things like that are things that perhaps the OCR will look for and pick, using the ATS system. So just be conversant with those words, infuse them in your CVs, load them in there and use those words, and you stand a higher chance of being selected.
Fantastic. So I'm coming to you, Viola. I want you to speak to this. I just want to add a few questions. So basically, what I've heard is that every industry has a register, like we learned in English language.
Yeah, that was the word.
Every industry has a register, and there are some keywords that are applied to every job role or every industry. So our CVs must carry those keywords for these automated selection machines to be able to see it on our CV and select it. So you will add to what he has said already, and then I want you to answer this question. How can we hack that system? And I'm not saying hacking the computer. How do I know, or how do I look at a job vacancy? How do I understand what are the words they would want to see here and quickly work it into? What are some tips on what I can do to work these words, these keywords into my CV, ensure that they are there, such that when the computer is checking, it will find those words on my CV and I will get selected.
Okay, so to add to what Daniel has said, I think that, so first things, for as much as I has talked about the use of words when you're preparing your CV, I would also add that the use of fonts, the kind of fonts you use is very important, because some fonts we go back as symbols. And so it doesn't have to be flowery, just basic Arial or Georgia or Calibri is fine, so that it doesn't transform as a symbol when it gets to ATS. And when, of course, it just then chunks it out if it's as a symbol. Then secondly, I would advise that you avoid the use of tables or pictures, and pictures, because it definitely would not pick it. So just use words. And in terms of the punchline words, so I will speak more generically and not in terms of some industries. Generically, there are words that are even for manually checking CVs, right? For me, I look out for words as champion. I start when you start your sentence with champion, this, delivered on this, actioned on this, led this. It makes it very punchline, very such that, oh, I'm interested. Or what did this person champion? What did this person actually do? And I believe it's the same thing for ATS too, because it is very it's just very catchy when you use words like that. It's less flowery. It's less flowery, but very.
So to jump in, you're saying when I'm writing my bullet points, I should start those sentences with verbs, action words.
Yes. It works
Amazing.
a lot. Instead of just writing stories and stories and stories, but I was able bullet point 1, championed the delivery of this, developed this, created this. It just makes it very attractive. And even if it is not ATS and it is a manual person that is going through it, like you said, the world is moving to ATS now, but some of us that we have a volume of CVs to look at, and we don't have the time to look at every one of them. We look out for action words. What are these things that this person has done? Not so you see some CVs and you see how they have captured their words, and you can tell that this person has done a lot, but it's not coming through from how it has been written out or how it has been summarized. And so I would advise that there are some words. So people can go on Google and just check what are those words that are very important for you to see. But I certainly am sure of things around action words: champion, delivered, led, actioned, just things around that. Yes.
Thank you very much. So once again, this is HR Hangouts brought to you by the Human Resource Development Ministry of Global Harvest Church, HQ, Liberty Road, Ibadan. As we round up this session, and because our time is far spent, I will be inviting you to give your final words, your final tips, and whatever you think, okay, we've not covered, because really we will be here for the next 1 hour discussing CVs. Yeah. So I will invite you in turns to tell us, if the final tip or the final word you'd like to leave for our listeners, the people watching us this evening, or people who watch the recorded version of this. And then while you're preparing for that, I'd like to announce that this Saturday at the church premises at Liberty Road, Lagos, Ibadan, we will be having a CV clinic. And what we are doing this time around is to have professional HR professionals sit down with you and fix your CVs in order to make it attractive to recruiters and also make it qualify for an ATS system. So after all we've said, I'm still not sure that I can fix this CV myself, or I don't understand some of the things that have been said tonight. On Saturday from 9 a.m., we will be on ground at the Global Harvest Church HQ, Liberty Road, just beside Jogger Center. And we will have HR professionals sitting with you, consulting and helping you to fix your CV. So you come with whatever version of your CV you have right now, come with a soft copy if you can, and we will fix your CV together, and you'll be able to go home with a CV that is standard and that will catch the recruiter's attention. If you have been working for 4 years or less, you'll pay 2,000 naira for that service. And if you have been working for 5 years or more, you're an experienced professional, the service will only cost you a token of 5,000 naira. I must say that if you go out there, you would not spend less than 15,000 naira for a CV service. So really, this is not commercial. This is just to ensure that there's value that is being exchanged. So 9 a.m. we'll start, and we'll run till about 1:30 on Saturday, this Saturday. And please, there's news I have for us at the end of this day. There's a gift that will be given to everybody that comes for that event on Saturday. I'll mention that at the end of the session once again. So let's start with you, Adiola. What's your final word? The final tip you want to give us?
Okay, maybe a couple of tips. I'll be fast about that.
Fantastic.
I think with the way the world is going now, we have to change the way we do things. First, in your CV, please, you do not need to put your actual or your address. So when you are doing address, you can do Ring Road, Ibadan, and that's all. You don't need to put number 5, something street. No, it's just fine. Let's see what your actual location is. Ring Road, Ibadan is fine. Ikeja, Lagos is fine. That's one thing. Then secondly, I see people write a lot about references, their contact address. No, it's okay to just put references available on requests. It's very okay to put it, because again, this is a period of a time where everybody's trying to be careful in terms of security. So if you're going to post or put I don't know where your CV can go. Trust me, your CV goes everywhere. That is one. Then thirdly, rather. So when you are writing your CV, even if you have the right information, you've written it the right way, it has to be neat. It has to be very neat. Leave it aligned. Don't like Daniel has said, you write curriculum vitae here. Like, really? At this time of age, no, we don't want to see that. Just put your name in bold and every other thing. Let the fonts be very consistent. We don't want to see different fonts. There's just a way, just put somebody off. Then imagine you see different fonts, unaligned document, and then you write, I pay attention to details. It doesn't align. So it's just okay to have your CVs look very, very interesting to read. So even if I'm going to spend 3 seconds, those are one of the things I look at. Oh, okay, this CV is nice to look at. But if it looks scattered from the start, I probably will never take a look at it. So I wish us all the best. I think that is all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Awesome. Coach Daniel, the last words.
Okay, Deola, thank you. It's been a pleasure hanging out here with you. And Barry.
Thank you too. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, and just to parting.
Yeah, muted.
You're muted.
Okay, a CV is a living document. A CV is it will grow as you grow. You know, so it's not a terminal document. So I got the job and that's the end. I go back and see. No, even when you're in employment, every experiences is a story. Is a good story to tell. You know, on your CV. So go back to your CV and update it at least monthly or by quarterly, because you don't know when somebody will call you and say, hey, I remember, bring your CV, let me quickly look at it, you know. So it's a living document. It will chronologically detail it like a journal, all your work experiences and your achievements. Having said that, also understand that job search is a full-time job. So for all of you out there looking for a job and you've sent like hundreds of your CVs, in newspaper ads, you've responded to internet ads, and you've done all that, don't get tired. The statistics is like this. So for every 20 applications you send out, you get at least one that will look at it, one company that will look at it. And for every 20 companies that look at it, you get one, at least one that you will get interview for. And for every 10 interviews, you will get one offer. So just think about it. So how many CVs do you now need to get just to get one offer? I mean,
that's 20 times 10.
10. That's it. So you don't relent. Just keep, it's a game of numbers. Just keep on sending, and then you should have different versions of your CV. Like if I'm going to be, like currently right now, my CV, I just updated it yesterday. And I have like 5 versions of it currently. I have a resume, which is just a 2-pager. My CV is actually an 8-page long CV. And then I have one that is like a 7-page, because that one didn't have pictures and all those flashy diagrams and all that. And that is because of the industry that I want to target, you know, so that is it. So, and I have various, and then I can, for my resume, I can customize it based on the job, because we're talking about OCRs and ATSs. So you begin to understand that you have to customize your CV. So one CV may not work for all industries and for all jobs. You have to go back to it, tweak it a little bit and push it out there. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to part by saying, just keep on going. One day, we'll all testify and we all meet up there. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for all the inputs that you've given to us. It's amazing. I'm sure we could have gone on for another hour and we'll still have a whole lot to talk about. So thank you, Adiola. Thank you, Coach Daniel, for making the day. So I want to remind us all once again, our CV Clinic is holding at Global Harvest Church HQ, Liberty Road, beside Jogger Center, this Saturday from 9 a.m. The fees we're charging is 2,000 naira for fresh graduates and 5,000 naira for experienced professionals. Also, if you will not be able to make it down for one reason or the other, maybe you're busy or something, you can also check the church social media platforms. You'll see our flyer. You can apply for your CV to be reviewed online. So we could have a remote review of your CV. Just pay the fees and then we help you to review your CVs. But for the on-site review this Saturday, we will only be attending to the first 80 people. And I must say that pre-registration has started already. So you want to register as fast as possible so that we can book your spot for Saturday. I'm also announcing that one of our panelists tonight, Coach Daniel, has a book titled The Complete Guide to CV Writing. That's Coach Daniel's book. He has a book out there called The Complete Guide to CV Writing. And he has graciously given us the permission to share this book with everybody that registers for our event on Saturday. So when you come on Saturday or you register for the remote session on Saturday, you will not only get your CV fixed, but you will also be going home with a copy of the book, The Complete Guide to CV Writing. Thank you so much, Coach Daniel, for being magnanimous and sharing with us. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for making a date with us on HR Hangouts. And till we mix next time on our next Hangout, please keep the fire burning.
Bye-bye, guys.
HRDM CV Clinic is here. Are you tired of submitting resumes that never get considered? Did you know that only 2% of resumes submitted are considered for interview invitations? Don't let your resume be one of them. Let us help you create a compelling resume that will stand out from the rest. Benefits includes experienced HR professionals on site, expert review and reproduction of CVs, navigation through the ATS system, and also increasing your chances of getting noticed. Registration is 2,000 Naira for fresh graduates and 5,000 Naira for mid-level and above. Pre-registration is ongoing, but limited slots are available. Date: Saturday, June 24th, 2023. Time: 9:30 a.m. Venue: Global Harvest Church, 325 Harvesters Drive, Liberty Road, Ibadan. Contact us today to learn more and secure your spot. For more enquiries, call 0703-700-1758 or 0814-634-8025. Reserve your spot today. Be among the first 80 applicants to secure your place. Take control of your career success and let us elevate your resume to new heights. Powered by the Human Resource Development Ministry, Global Harvest Church Headquarters.